Hi everyone! Today we're going to show you how to crochet a granny square felted lining shoulder bag. Let's look at his bag, which is made up of two large granny squares for the front and back, and a long herringbone pattern strip that wraps around the sides and connects them. Then we'll add 2 rounds of single crochet to create a neat border, and to finish we'll sew the inner lining to the crochet panel. Once the shoulder strap is attached, the granny square felted shoulder bag is complete. As you can see, there's also a compartment inside the bag. Next, let's start by crocheting the granny square panels. Now let's demonstrate how to crochet the large granny square, which consists of a total of 9 rounds. Each round has 4 corners, made with 3 double crochets, 2 chains, and another 3 double crochets. For the sides, just crochet 3 double crochets into the space between the 2 sets of double crochets from the previous round. The outermost round is edged with single crochets. Next, let's demonstrate how to crochet the first round. Start with this yarn and make a magic ring. Hold the yarn and wrap it around your fingers twice. Hold the loops with your other hand. Then wrap the yarn to your pinky and index fingers and transfer the ring to the other hand. Take the 3.5mm crochet hook and insert it through the large loop. Pull the yarn through to create a loop on the hook, then yarn over and pull it through the loop, forming a V shape. This is a chain stitch. Now crochet 2 more chain stitches. The second chain. There is a V-shaped stitch created. 3 chain stitches completed. Next, crochet 2 double crochets. Yarn over and use your middle finger to hold the 2 loops in place. Insert the hook into the large loop and pull the yarn through. Now there are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook, and 2 loops remain on the hook. Yarn over again and pull through the remaining 2 loops on the hook. That completes 1 double crochet stitch. After completing the stitch, pull the loop slightly longer. Use a stitch marker to mark the hole beside the 3 chains. Next, crochet 1 more double crochet. Yarn over. Insert the hook into the large loop. Yarn over again and pull through the loop. There are now 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Yarn over again and pull through the remaining 2 loops. Second double crochet completed. These 3 chain stitches act as a substitute for a double crochet. Then chain 2. Continue by crocheting 3 more sets, each consisting of 3 double crochets and 2 chain stitches. The second set is complete. Now go ahead and crochet 2 more sets. Four sets are now completed. After crocheting, stretch out the loop slightly. Find the short yarn tail and gently pull it to see which yarn moves. Pull the moving yarn in the opposite direction to close the center hole until it's nearly gone. Finally, pull the yarn tail to tighten and close it completely. Now, the hole in the center is closed. Insert the crochet hook back into the loop to continue. Next, we'll make a slip stitch. The slip stitch is made at the position marked by the stitch marker. Remove the stitch marker and remember the marked spot. Insert the hook into that stitch. Place the yarn tail over the hook. Pull the yarn through both the stitch and the loop on the hook. Stretch out the loop tightly to make the V-stitch small as much as possible. The slip stitch is complete. This stitch will not be counted as a normal stitch. The first round of crochet is complete. Pull the loop out and cut the yarn. Now take a look at the first round. It forms a square with a large hole at each corner. We'll start by inserting the hook into one of these corner spaces. For round 2, we'll change the yarn color. Make a slip knot about 3 to 3.5 inches from the end. Take the crochet piece. Insert the hook into the big space right next to the slip stitch and tuck the yarn tail behind the piece. Place the loop on the hook and pull the yarn through the large hole. Chain 1. Then chain 2. Next, crochet 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Yarn over and insert the hook into the hole. All yarn tails should be placed above the crochet hook. Yarn over and pull the yarn through. Yarn over again and pull through the first 2 loops. Yarn over one more time and pull through the remaining 2 loops. Then crochet the next double crochet in the same place. Chain 2. Crochet 3 double crochets into the same hole. Repeat the same steps in the remaining 3 spaces. 3 double crochets, 2 chain stitches, and 3 double crochets. Keep the yarn tail above the hook while crocheting. Cut the yarn tails. At last, make a slip stitch into the hole beside the initial 3 chains. Insert the hole and pull up a loop. Then pull the loop through the other loop on the hook to complete the slip stitch. Tighten the loop and cut the yarn. Round 2 is now complete. Next, begin crocheting. Round 3. Take a new strand of yarn and make a slip knot about 3 to 3.5 inches from the end. Next, take the crochet piece and insert the hook into the space just beside the slip stitch, which is the space between the 2 sets of double crochets. Place the loop on the hook and pull it through. Place the yarn tail behind the crochet piece and chain 3. Then, crochet 2 double crochets into the same space. Next, we have reached the first corner. Work 3 double crochets, 2 chains, 3 double crochets. Start with 3 double crochets, keeping the yarn tail above the hook. Cut the yarn tails after secure them in place. Then chain 2. Make 3 double crochets in the same place. We can see that a corner is formed. In the space between the 2 double crochet groups, work 3 double crochets. In this corner, also crochet 3 double crochets, 2 chains and 3 double crochets. The second corner is now complete. Continue by crocheting 3 double crochets in the side space, and 3 double crochets, 2 chains, and 3 double crochets in the corner space. After finishing the round, make a slip stitch into the large space formed by the 3 chain stitches. Stretch out the loop and cut off the yarn. Round 3 is complete. Next, we'll demonstrate how to crochet round 4. Use the matching color yarn from the color table and make a slip knot 3 to 3.5 inches from the end. Insert the hook into the space just before the slip stitch from round 3. Place the yarn on the hook and pull the yarn through. Position the yarn tails at the back of the work. Then, chain 3. Crochet 2 double crochets into the same space. Crochet 3 double crochets in the next space between 2 sets of double crochets. Place the yarn tails over the hook. As before, work 3 double crochets, 2 chains, and 3 double crochets into the corner space. Cut the yarn tails. A corner has now formed. Work 3 double crochets into each of the 2 side spaces. Continue by working 3 double crochets in each side space, and 3 double crochets, 2 chains, and 3 double crochets in each corner space. Repeat this pattern until the end. At the end of this round, make a slip stitch beside the initial 3 chains to join. Stretch out the loop and cut off the yarn. Round 4 is complete. Continue following the same pattern for the remaining rounds. Work 3 double crochets in each side space, and 3 double crochets, 2 chains, and 3 double crochets in each corner space. Repeat this until the final round is completed. The final round is now complete. Slip stitch into the chain 3 space. Now we are going to edging with single crochet using the final round's yarn color. Start with 1 chain stitch, next, crochet the first single crochet. Insert the hook into the same spot where the slip stitch was made, yarn over, and pull up a loop. There are 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through both loops. The first single crochet is now complete. A V-shaped stitch will appear at this spot. Mark this stitch with a stitch marker. Next, crochet the second single crochet. Insert the hook into the V-shaped stitch of the first corresponding double crochet from the previous round. Yarn over and pull up a loop. 2 loops are now on the hook. Yarn over again and pull through both loops to complete the second single crochet. Work the third single crochet into the stitch of the next double crochet from the previous round. Then crochet 1 single crochet into each V-shaped stick of the double crochets until the corner. At the corner space, work 1 single crochet, 1 chain, and 1 single crochet into the large space. All 3 stitches are worked into the same space. Continue by working 1 single crochet into the stitch corresponding to each double crochet. The first one will be worked into the corresponding V-stitch of this double crochet. Don't miss it. Let's take a look at this piece before continue. Work 1 single crochet in each side stitch and 1 single crochet, 1 chain, 1 single crochet in each corner. Let's continue the rest with the same method. When finished the round, remove the stitch marker and make a slip stitch in the marked stitch. Tighten and pull out the loop. Cut the yarn. The granny square crochet piece is now complete. Crochet the other granny square piece in the same way. Now, let's crochet the side panel of the bag. It's mainly formed by a herringbone crochet pattern. As you can see, the entire panel is made from one continuous piece of herringbone stitching. In total, we'll be crocheting 91 rows. Now let's start with the herringbone crochet demo. Take a new strand of yarn and make a slip knot about 3 to 3.5 inches from the end. Insert the hook into the loop. Pinch the knot, yarn over, and pull through to make a chain. We need to crochet a total of 19 chain stitches. Keep your chain slightly loose, not too tight. Once done, make sure you've got 19 chains. Now insert your hook into the back bump of the second to last chain and make a single crochet. Here is the back bump just behind the chain. From here on, all stitches will be worked into the back bump of each chain stitch. Now locate the back bump of the second to last chain and make a single crochet into it. First single crochet done, place a stitch marker. Next, we'll start working the herringbone stitch. You'll notice 2 loops form after the single crochet. Insert the hook into the right one. Then insert the hook into the back bump of the next chain stitch. Yarn over, pull through, and you should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops at once. That's our second stitch done, as well as the first herringbone stitch. At this point, there are 3 loops. Go ahead and insert your hook into the most right loop. Then insert the hook into the back bump of the next chain stitch. The third stitch is now complete. Just keep going using the same method until the last back bump. As mentioned earlier, it can be hard to insert the hook into the back bump if the chain row is too tight. Be sure not to pull the chain too tight at the beginning. Now we've reached the last stitch. After finishing the last stitch, count your stitches. You should have a total of 18 V-shaped stitches. Once finished, you'll see the texture forming. And this is what the herringbone stitch looks like. Next, we'll crochet the second row. It's worked on the wrong side and we'll start with 1 chain stitch. Turn the piece over with the wrong side facing us. Since the texture needs to stay on the same side, the crochet method will be different when working from the wrong side. When working on the wrong side, always keep the yarn in front of the hook. Then, insert the hook from back to front into the last V-stitch of the first row. The hook should go under this diagonal strand. This makes the piece thicker and the texture more defined. Then yarn over and pull the yarn out through the stitch. Yarn over, pull through to finish the first stitch of row 2 and mark it with a stitch marker. From here, we will start the herringbone stitch across the row. You'll see 2 loops from the previous stitch. Go ahead and insert your hook into the right one. Just like before, insert your hook from back to front under the diagonal strand of the stitch. Then yarn over and pull it through. There are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull all the 3 loops at once. The second herringbone stitch is complete. Next, insert the hook into the leftmost of the 3 loops. Go in from back to front of the next stitch, yarn over and pull the yarn through. Make sure to keep your loops at the same height as you go. And continue crocheting the same way as before. Finish the row by working the last stitch into the first stitch of the previous row. Take off the stitch marker and insert your hook into the loop of the 3. Next, insert the hook into the marked stitch. You'll notice that there is no diagonal line beneath it. In fact, the first stitch of each row doesn't have a diagonal line underneath. Pull up the loop and you'll notice the herringbone pattern forming. Let's start row 3. Chain 1 and flip your work over. Row 3 is worked the same way as row 1. Insert the hook into the second to last stitch, which is the stitch before chain. Insert your hook into the diagonal strand right underneath. Mark the first stitch. Same as row 1. Insert into the loop, then into the next stitch and go under the diagonal strand. Yarn over and pull through. Don't pull the loop too tight. Try to keep it at a consistent height. Then pull the yarn through all the loops. Repeat the same steps to crochet a total of 18 stitches. The last stitch of row 3 is also worked into the first stitch of row 2. Take off the stitch marker and insert your hook into the loop. And insert into the V-shaped stitch. There is no diagonal strand here. Next, we'll move on to row 4. All the first stitches starts each row are normal single crochet stitches. Start with 1 chain and flip over the piece. At row 4, we will crochet from wrong side. Remember to keep the yarn in front of the hook. Insert your hook from the back to front into the last stitch of the previous row. Pull the yarn through, then yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. Mark the stitch. Here, 2 loops have formed. Insert the hook into the rightmost loop. Then insert the hook from the right side of the piece to the wrong side and go beneath the diagonal line. Yarn over and pull through the stitch. Then yarn over to pull through all the 3 loops. Now just keep repeating the same steps to finish row 4. Take off the stitch marker. The last stitch goes into the first stitch from the previous row. Row 4 is complete. Turn the piece over and take a look. We have completed 4 rows. Now just keep repeating row 3 and 4 until you've completed 91 rows in total. Once finished the final row, make 1 chain stitch. That's all 91 rows done. Now let's go ahead and count to make sure. Then, we'll work on the edging. Use the same yarn color to edge both sides of the piece. Let's go ahead and demonstrate how to do the edging. We will make 1 single crochet at the side of each row. For the first one, the insertion position is right between these two strands. The hook needs to go through the back strands as well. We already chained one, so now just insert your hook into the stitch and make a single crochet. The first single crochet is complete. The insertion point for the second single crochet is this corresponding small hole here. Insert the hook and make a single crochet. Row 3 goes into the same spot as row 1, between these two strands. Be sure to insert through the strands on the back. For row 4, work the stitch into the small hole of this row. The 5th single crochet. And the 6th single crochet. Then repeat the edging until the end. The stitch hole for the last row is smaller, so make sure don't miss it. After finishing the last stitch, crochet 1 chain stitch. Tighten the loop and cut the yarn. The edging on this side is now complete. As you can see, the edge looks much neater and more even. Now we'll edge the other side the same way. For this side, start the first stitch right here into the small hole. And for row 2, insert the hook between these two strands. Take the same color yarn and make a slip knot about 3 to 3.5 inches from the end. Insert the hook into the starting point of row 1. Place the loop onto the hook and pull it through. Chain 1. Then work a single crochet into the same space. Place the yarn tail over the hook. Make a single crochet into the space between the two strands of the next row. For the 3rd single crochet, go into the small hole of the next row. Then the 4th stitch goes between the two strands. The 5th single crochet is worked in the small hole again. Cut the yarn tail. Continue along the edge using the same pattern. The insertion point for the final stitch is at the first V-stitch of the row. Chain 1, tighten the loop, and cut the yarn. Now that the edging is complete, let's double check to make sure there are 91 stitches in each side. Next, we'll connect this piece to the large granny squares. Let's look at the square. Counting the chain stitches at each corner, it adds up to 91 stitches in total around 3 sides. Each of the 91 stitches lines up directly with a stitch on the herringbone panel. Place the wrong sides of the two pieces facing together. Line up the first stitches of both pieces. For the herringbone piece, the first insertion point is right at the first stitch along the side. For the large granny square, insert the hook into the chain stitch at the corner. Grab the same color yarn and make a slip knot, leaving about 3 to 3.5 inches at the end. Place the loop on the hook and pull it through. Adjust the loop and make 1 chain stitch. Make a single crochet right into the same spot. Place the yarn tail between the two pieces. The first joining single crochet is complete. Work the 2nd single crochet into the 2nd stitch of both pieces. Keep the yarn tail tucked between the pieces and over the hook so it gets hidden as you crochet. Continue working single crochet stitch by stitch using the same method. We've reached the corner chain stitch of the large piece, and this chain stitch also corresponds to one stitch of the herringbone piece. The first joining edge of the two pieces is complete. As you can see, it creates a nice raised border around the seam. Now keep matching up the stitches and joining them one by one until you reach the end. As you reach the slip stitch on the large piece, insert your hook into the V-stitch right next to the yarn tail. Tuck the yarn tail between and continue joining the corresponding stitches one by one. The last stitch goes into the chain stitch at the corner. After completing the last single crochet, make one chain stitch to secure it in place. Pull the loop tight and trim the yarn. Tie the 3 yarn tails together and pull tight. Use a yarn needle to weave in this yarn tail. Cut off the excess yarn tails. Now that we've finished connecting one large granny square, use the same method to attach the other piece. Be sure to place the yarn tail side of the large square facing the herringbone piece. With all the pieces connected, it's time to crochet 2 rounds of single crochet around the top edge for a clean border. We'll insert the hook into the first stitch at this corner. The chain stitch next to it is already joined to the side panel. Take the same color yarn and make a slip knot about 3 to 3.5 inches from the end. Place the yarn on the hook and pull it through. Chain 1. Make a single crochet right into that same stitch. Place the yarn tail over the hook as you work, so it gets hidden in the stitches. Mark the first stitch with a stitch marker. From here, just make one single crochet in each stitch all the way around. Continue holding the yarn tail over the hook to hide it as you go. Cut the yarn tail and continue crocheting. We've reached the seam where the 2 pieces meet. Make one single crochet on each side of the seam to keep the edge even. Don't pull too tightly when finishing this single crochet. At the other side of the seam, go into here and make a single crochet stitch. Continue working one single crochet into each stitch on the side panel, matching them one by one. Here is the first V-stitch. The V-stitches along this side can be a bit harder to insert into, so take your time and be patient. When reach the seam, do the same. One single crochet on each side. From this side of the large square, work into the corner stitch. Then continue working single crochets one by one. Work one single crochet at each side of the last seam. Remove the marker and make a slip stitch into the marked stitch. Next, we'll begin the second round of edging. Chain 1 and make a single crochet into the same stitch. Mark the stitch. Then continue crocheting. Now that we're at the seam, we'll do a single crochet decrease over these 2 stitches. Start by inserting your hook into the first stitch and pulling up a loop. There should be 2 loops on your hook. Then go into the next stitch, pull up another loop, and now you've got 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. This creates a V-shaped stitch, turning 2 stitches into 1. That's how we make a single crochet decrease. Next, continue as usual by working 1 single crochet into the next stitch. The second seam stitches also requires a single crochet decrease. Pull up a loop in each of the 2 stitches, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Follow the same steps until the end. At the final 2 stitches, make a single crochet decrease. Slip stitch into the marked stitch to finish off the round. Tighten the loop and cut off the yarn to finish. Finally, use a yarn needle to weave all the yarn tail into the back of the piece. Trim off the excess yarn tails. The edging is complete. Now it's time to place the inner lining into the assembled crochet panels. Let's look at the lining structure. There's a row of stitching along the top, and that's where we'll be sewing into. First, place the lining bag inside the finished crochet piece. Smooth out the lining bag. Make sure all the edges are properly aligned. Next, stretch the crochet piece gently upward. Before crocheting, gently stretch the crochet piece again to align it properly. Then zip up the zipper. Tuck the excess part of the zipper inside for now. Feel free to start at any stitch where the lining is sewn. Take the embroidery needle and floss from the kit. Cut about 108 inches of thread and thread it through the needle. Fold it in half and tie a slip knot at the end so you're working with a double strand. Pick any corner stitch and insert the needle from the outside. Pull the thread through. Then, sew the needle back along the stitches of the lining. Next, pass the needle through the loop to secure it. Pull the loop tight. Leave the thread tail inside, then find a suitable point on the first round of the edging to begin the joining. Line up the stitched edge with the crochet border, then start with the first stitch. Then, pass the needle back through. Then stitch the needle out along the seam. Thread through the corresponding position on the crochet piece. Keep joining the lining to the crochet panel. When reach the corner, just connect it using the same technique. Attach it to the matching stitch on the first round of the border. This section is a little bit thicker, so if it's hard to insert the needle, just stitch it in place right here. Then continue joining the corresponding stitches. As you work along this side, gently lift the crochet panel upward. Since the yarn has some stretch, it will gradually shape itself and stay in place over time. Keep inserting the embroidery needle into the next stitch along the seam, joining this edge to the crochet panel as well. You don't have to match every stitch exactly, just align them roughly as you go. We're now at the last stitch. Go ahead and sew it in place. Once the stitching is done, tie a knot here on the bag. Insert the needle through the loop to secure it. Let's tie a second knot to secure it further. Then insert the needle into the crochet piece to hide the floss tail inside. Trim the tail. Now the bag and the crochet panel are fully sewn together. It's normal for the bag's corners to look slightly misshapen right after crocheting, as the yarn is still a bit tight. You can fill the bag with some items to help it hold its shape. Finally, attach the shoulder strap to these two D-rings. The granny square felt purse is finished. Hope you enjoyed your crocheting time.